Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike again with another comic book review. I know this is a little late. Batman actually came out last Wednesday. As I'm recording this, it's Thursday morning. It's like 2:45 in the morning. But I was busy with school and stuff. Didn't get a chance to record a video review of the Bat books. I'm gonna be trying to the next time do it on after Batman comes out, like the day of. Anyway. So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing a review of Batman and Robin, Detective Comics, and Batman again. I'm gonna be going from weakest to strongest, like I did last week, and just trying to run through the plot, art, and then my thoughts on it. So I'm gonna start off with Batman and Robin #2 as the weakest book. I'm not saying, and so it starts off with basically a recap of the life of Damian Wayne. Bruce is talking to Alfred, noting how, he's trying to change Damian from how he was raised. Damian was raised by the League of Assassins, by Talia al Ghul, to replace Bruce, to be a killing machine, and, to rid the world of evil. And Bruce is afraid of that if he dies, that Damian will, become evil, that he will become what his mother wanted, and he doesn't want that to happen. And then it moves to Batman and Robin taking down some criminals. Batman commends Robin for for not using excessive force. They tap the villains. The thugs. They leave. The thugs are then murdered by the mystery villain from issue 1, who killed the Russian Batman. And when they return to the Batcave, you see Alfred trying to tell Bruce that Bruce doesn't know how to, like the way he's approaching the situation with Damian is wrong, that he doesn't know how to. From there, it goes on to Damian sort of destroying things and still Bruce trying to, be a good father, but it shows that it's not working. And then it moves on to Bruce outside and he meets up with the man in the suit, who appears to be that Bruce knows him. If you read the book and if you know a little bit about the Batman mythos, you probably recognize the man. I recognize him. I don't remember him from like where he's from, like in other arcs, but it'll probably come to me like in the future. It's like, oh, that guy. So and the book ends with this guy promising to end Batman and and crime and things like that. So like if I remember correctly, and it's and Bruce like acknowledging that he's gonna stop this man. So as for story wise, this book is mostly a sort of Bruce Wayne trying to connect with Damian, because he's been gone for so much of his life, and this with most of his life. And sorry, I got distracted. And this him trying to build a father-son relationship and change Damian from the person he is. I find this a little. I don't like Damian Wayne. I've already expressed this, but I feel that this is for people who haven't experienced the Batman and Robin, like story, who don't know who Damian Wayne is, and the 2-page spread recap of Damian Wayne's life is helpful, but at the same time, I personally already know it, so I feel I felt it's boring, and I also felt the trying to build a father-son relationship was like it showed like Tomasi knows how to write Bruce Wayne and how to write Damian, and the way he's writing it shows that Bruce has poor father skills, not because he's like a terrible human being. It's because his parents died. He really doesn't. He was raised to stop. Like after his parents died, he started training to stop crime. So he really doesn't know how to connect with his son. It's the same, and even though he's had 4 other Robins, or in the past, you can see how it's evident that each one he's taking a different approach with, and it's reflected. Like with Dick Grayson, he had this they had this relationship where it got to a point where Dick had to become his own hero, get out under the Bat's shadow. With Jason Todd, he tried to see Dick and Jason, but you know he only saw anger, and I feel like Jason Todd is the most similar to Damian Wayne in terms of, you know, he has this anger, and like, you know, he's not like Dick, he's not like Tim. They're different. Like these, they're the most similar. Like they hate, you know, they will kill like criminals, like, you know, without remorse. So yeah, that was, I found that, I mean, the way Tomasi's trying to build this relationship is good, but at the same time I don't like Damien, so I'm not really interested in, you know, Bruce trying to like, it's a nice concept of him trying to save Damien's like soul, or like, you know, like figuratively, but at the same time I find it a little boring and bland. As for the second part of the story where you see the villain introduced again, um, that again is just that felt like tacked on at the end. I felt like they could have had a different meeting, like not in civilian clothing, like a different type of meeting. Maybe you know, as Batman and this villain, I forgot what they call him. But yeah, that felt a little bland too. Um, there were some things that, you know, that sort of bored me about this book, this issue. So as in terms of art, Gleason's art hasn't changed much. He draws Batman and Robin very well. I don't like the way he draws Bruce Wayne, um, out of costume, and he looks a little weird. So does Damien, but that's to be expected. Gleason has his own art style that he, you know, that's how he draws them. I feel that they look better in costume. They're sleeker. Like, you know, it hasn't changed much. Batman looks very Batmanish. Damon looks like, you know, Robin in his weird costume. Otherwise, the book's alright. I'm gonna be giving it a 3 out of 5 just because it's just a little bland to me right now. I hope it picks up. Tomasi's last run, which Batman Robin, which was the White Knight arc, I liked a lot. So I hope it picks up. It gets as good as that one, because that one is really good. So I'm gonna keep buying the book until the end of the arc and see how it turns out. And if it gets dull, I'll probably stop. I don't know yet. The next book I'm doing is Detective Comics number 2, by the same team, Tony Daniel and Ryan Winn, and there's a new person, Sandru Floreau, who I think is either an additional artist or the letterer, colorist, or something like that. I don't know who this person is, actually. So it starts off with Bruce doing some rock climbing. We're introduced to another character who, you know, another billionaire, I believe. And Bruce proceeds to have this rock climbing thing, whatever, he's working out. He then meets a reporter who I don't recognize, and they have a fling inside his office. You know, typical Playboy Bruce Wayne, sorta. I mean, this seems very out of character, but I mean, it also seems in character because he has this persona as a Playboy, and this takes place before Batman and Batman and Robin. So, you know, he's single, he's doing whatever he does, you know, flirting around, whatever. It then shows up with Commissioner Gordon, I believe, in an autopsy room in the morgue. You know, they found one of the criminals from last issue, the murder victim. I mean, trying to identify who he is and who killed him and how and things like that. They get a tip. I believe Gordon goes first. He gets captured. Bruce Wayne, or Batman, goes after him on a motorcycle. Shows up, tries to take him down, or tries to find him. He finds a whole bunch of murdered people, like dead cops and thugs. He gets attacked by these two like ragdollish type people, but made of skin. And he meets. You see the bad guy's like assistant, who is like a rip off of Harley Quinn, to be truthful. Blonde in a nurse's outfit with a sledgehammer, really. And then you meet the bad guy, who's called the Dollmaker. He looks like Ragdoll as well, but made of a skin. Looks a little generic. Oh, he doesn't look generic. He looks a little creepy. He looks creepy. Not as creepy as the rest of the rogues, but pretty creepy. Book ends with Gordon thrown at Batman, and you see his face. He's been dolled up. Like he's had random skin sewed into him. So story-wise, I found the beginning of the book to be dumb. I didn't like the beginning of the book with the whole when Bruce Wayne was not Batman, it was a little weird. The whole fling was awkward. I didn't like that part. Some people might. I did not. Seeing Bruce work out, that's fine. I mean, it's expected that a billionaire playboy would be spending money and doing things like that. What picked up, what turned the book around is when Batman on the motorcycle rushing to the crime scene, and the way Daniel, I mean the writing is solid between everything. It's just like, the story and the pacing is a little slow. But with Bruce going to the crime scene, there wasn't much talking, but I like the way when he's Batman, he eternally, there's a monologue of him thinking, like when he gets attacked, he's like, he thinks about who's attacking him. It's told from his thoughts, which is good and interesting. Not many books do that. As for the Dollmaker, I don't really care for him. He's an interesting villain. It feels like they're running out of bad guys and they're just throwing random people together, like literally throwing random people together to make these villains. But he could be an interesting guy. Like if we learn more about him and if he has an interesting backstory. If he's not, I hope he's not just some random sociopath who likes to sell people. He reminds me of Professor Pig, and I don't like that. If you don't know who Professor Pig is, he's one of the villains from Grant Morrison's Batman run, Batman and Robin run. After Dick Grayson becomes Batman. Otherwise, that's all I have to say about the story. Art-wise, Tony Daniel's Batman, I feel, has gotten a lot better. He looks very similar to Capullo's Batman. He looks very sleek. They both draw him with the square jaw, which is very Bruce Timm-esque, which I like. Broad shoulders. I like the fact that all the Batman and Robin or the Batman books, when they draw Batman, they look very similar. Cal, pointy, the ears are short, very strong looking, square jaw-ish in some books, some don't. It adheres to Jim Lee's redesign of the costume. The Dollmaker, he's creepy looking, sewn up skin. I don't like the way Tony Daniel draws Captain Commissioner Gordon, whatever he is in this. He looks weird, in my opinion. I think it's the color of his hair, like the red, or it looks red orange, or like the weird. It's the color that weirds me out of his hair. Not that I don't like redhead people. It's just like it. It feels like it's too just the tone of it. The tone of the color is weird. That might change. Otherwise, art is good. I don't like this. I also don't like the girl, the sidekick chick. She is weird too. She just seems like a rip of Harley Quinn. Who I think is an awesome addition to the Batman universe when she was created back in the Batman anime series. But anyway, so I'm gonna give Detective Comics, starring Batman, a 3 out of 5. It wasn't as good as the last issue. I mean, it decreased a little bit in quality, not as in the wow factor, that boom factor, but it's still a good book. It's solid. I hope it gets better. Then last book I'm gonna be doing of the Batman books is Batman #2 by the same team, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, and Jonathan Glapion. Glapion. I'm right. So this book starts off with Bruce stopping, I believe, a crime. He's on his motorcycle. He's chasing these guys down in stop the noise. I'm trying to open the comic. Yeah. Actually no. I am false. I'm a lie. It actually starts off with Bruce Wayne talking about Wayne Tower. About how his ancestor built it, how there's gargoyles overlooking, built into it to protect Gotham or oversee it, and you see Bruce Wayne get thrown out a window, and then turns on to Batman chasing down a helicopter on his motorcycle, and he manages to catch his villains by doing some crazy Batman stuff. He busts through the window. He then goes to the morgue to see. Or he goes back to the Batcave and he installed this camera in Gotham's morgue so he could do a virtual autopsy and talk to Commissioner Gordon by projecting his image there, which I think is very cool. Then proceeds to introduce Nightwing, or Nightwing is shown in the book. Him and Bruce talk. There's some Nightwing wit in there, which I like a lot. And then it continues on to Bruce going to Wayne Tower, meeting this one of the characters introduced in the last book. I forget his name. In the last issue, not last book. In the last issue, and this man is trying. He wants Bruce Wayne's vote because he's running for, I believe, either DA or something important, and they're attacked by this mystery man in a suit. Bruce fights this guy trying to downplay his skills. Apparently can't take him down through normal means, like by choking him, because this guy is like invincible in the suit. Apparently they get thrown out a window. Bruce manages to not fall. This dude falls into a car, and in the ambulance when they're taking him away, he gets back up and kills the people. And and we're introduced to this group called the Owls of Athena or something, based on off a nursery rhyme. And Bruce Wayne claims they don't exist, but apparently they do. So story-wise, this book has not diminished. I think it's gotten a lot better story-wise. So a lot of things happen. A lot of things are introduced. I like the way Scott Snyder has been writing this Bruce Wayne. Outside of his as Bruce Wayne, he's a philanthropist. He tries to downplay, his skills as a fighter and things like that. But also like the way he introduces Gotham's history into the book. He did that in his last book, which is about Gotham's history. But I love the way he started off the book with about the Wayne Tower, and just the way he eternally monologues Batman. It shows that he knows what he's doing. Also like the way he's involving tools and gadgets into the writing. Batman's known for that, and I'm happy that someone is involving those, this new camera system, so he doesn't have to sneak around into the morgue anymore. Also the fact he was on a motorcycle is very similar to the one in Detective Comics, except it's different because Capullo draws differently. But also otherwise, Nightwing is in the book. He's red instead of blue because of the reboot. I don't like the red costume. I like Nightwing. But he has this wit to him that Scott Snyder does well. Art wise, hasn't diminished. It's gotten a little better. It's gotten better. Batman's a little more sleeker. It's a little more defined as a character, and art wise, the villain's a little whatever. He's another guy in a suit. I hope they explain it. Maybe it seems like they're a cult, like the League of Assassins, but with high tech suits, and they're Greek. So otherwise, this book is good. It's gotten a lot better. I'm gonna be giving it a 5 out of 5. I hope it stays this good. I know books tend to die off towards the end, but towards the middle and then pick up at the end. But I hope it's great. Hope it continues to the standard. So that's it for my review. I'm gonna be putting up another review of some other stuff. Fear Itself and Spider Island just ended. Well, Spider Island isn't officially over until next week, but Fear Itself ended, so I'm gonna be doing a review about that and uploading it this week or this weekend. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment, response, whatever you like, and hope you have a great time. Enjoy your books, and thanks a lot.